Hey you guys, and welcome back to another mini case episode. I'm Kayla, and if this is your first time here with us, a special welcome to you. If you enjoy this video and this type of content, subscribe to our channel for more dope shit like this. So I did a poll on social media and asked you guys if you wanted a Valentine's Day themed mini case, and the answer was overwhelmingly yes. So here we go. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of pictures associated with this case, so if you know something that I don't and would like to share, please feel free to reach out to us in the comments. On Sunday, February 14th, 1999, Tawana Blair called police early that morning letting them know that she'd been shot and that 3 other people were dead in a townhouse in Cleveland, Tennessee. When police arrived, they found 3 adult victims laying on the living room floor. 19-year-old Orenthal James Blair, 18-year-old Casey Higgins, and 25-year-old mother of 2, Dawn Rogers. Tawana was found upstairs in the home, and emergency personnel were able to reach her and transport her to the hospital. Unfortunately, all 3 deceased victims suffered from multiple gunshot wounds to the head and neck. The investigating detective named Eric Hampton noticed that the kitchen door had been forced open, and on the floor was a knife, cordless phone, and black wire flex ties, and I'm assuming they mean zip ties. There was no evidence of any drugs or other illegal contraband in the home, and investigators said that the house wasn't ransacked, suggesting that this wasn't about robbery, or if it was, the killer found what they were looking for and took it with them. While conducting their investigation, police were notified of an argument that happened 2 days before the murder between one of the victims, O.J. Blair, and a man named Maurice Johnson. A woman named Tamara would later testify that on Friday, February 12th, she threw a party where she lived in Sweetwater and said about 100 people showed up. One of Maurice's cousins would also later testify that he was at the party as well and saw the fight between O.J. and Maurice. He said after a couple guys broke the fight up, gunshots rang out. Maurice then pulled out his gun and aimed at the porch. His cousin said that he told Maurice to stop and that it wasn't worth it. To which Maurice replied, quote, "You are going to let them shoot at me and I can't shoot back?" End quote. Even Maurice's boo thing at the time would later testify that she saw him with a gun at that same party and that Maurice, quote, always had a gun. She also said that when OJ and Tawana arrived at the party that night, Maurice told her, quote, they could die right there. Which makes me feel like their issues started before that argument at that party, but we'll see. Officers were responding to the scene. One of them ran into a man named Kenny Rogers, who actually got shot when the bullets started flying at the party. So the officers stayed with him until help came. After the shooting, Maurice and 2 other men, Jason McGowie and Michael Younger, went to Maurice's Boothang's house. It was around 2 a.m. at the time. They were drunk, being belligerent, and even broke a door in her house. And Jason actually ended up staying behind to help her fix it. She would later testify that she asked Maurice what he planned to do after they left her house, to which Maurice responded, quote, "Get my money back." She then asked him, "How much dope did you front him?" And I'm assuming they're talking about OJ. That wasn't made clear. And Maurice told her that it was none of her business and left soon after that. But other officers at the scene took Maurice into custody for questioning. But it didn't go any further than that, and we'll kind of get to it later. At around 2 a.m. on February 14th, so technically this is still considered Saturday night, the night after the Sweetwater party happened, a woman named Stacy Ann left a club called the Party Zone after OJ, Tawana, and Dawn seemingly ditched her and just didn't show up. So after she left, she decided to drive by the townhouse, and when she got there, she said she went up to the door, knocked on it, and according to her, Tawana answered the door and told her that everyone was sleeping, so Stacy naturally just decided to leave. But she said shortly after she walked away, she heard some kind of noise coming from the direction of the townhouse. And when she looked back, she saw a man sitting in a maroon car, a man she would later identify as Maurice Johnson. Maurice's boo Joan would later testify that she saw him at around 7 or 8 a.m. Monday the 15th, and they got into a little argument because she felt like he was sleeping with someone else. She asked him where he was the night before, and he told her that he'd taken care of it. he gotten his money back, that he did something bad, and that he was going to have to go away for a while. He then went on to describe to her what took place at the townhouse. So he basically claimed that he went to the home where only OJ was inside, and he confronted him. And when he confronted him, OJ pulled out a gun, and that's when Maurice shot him. He said that OJ was still alive when he left, and that afterward, he threw the gun into the Loudoun County rock quarry. Apparently, he also threatened that if she ever told anyone, he would kill her. And they parted ways from each other's lives after that, as they should have. When it finally came time for Maurice's trial in 2009, the state had multiple witnesses testify that Maurice confessed to them about the murders over the last 10 years. One man testified that he met up with Maurice in 2006 and said that when they discussed the murders at first, Maurice was irritated because the news kept assuming it was him. But he later confessed that when he went to the house, he shot OJ once, killing him, and then heard noise upstairs, and shot everyone else in an effort to leave no witnesses. He even discussed how he needed to kill Tawana because she was the last witness. This man literally can't hold water. He's told everyone he can. He also admitted to a fellow inmate that when he was released, if people had an issue with him, he would, quote, just do them like me and Money did down in Cleveland. And Money was referring to Michael Younger, one of the men that was with Maurice on the night of the murders. The defense motioned for an acquittal on all accounts, claiming that the only real evidence that the state had was stories fabricated by criminals who were probably getting an incentive to testify against Maurice. But the judge said, the show will go on, and now Maurice would speak to the court on his own behalf. He told the court that he'd never met OJ before the day of the party, that he was the one that supplied the alcohol for the party, and that he did not bring his gun that day. In regards to the fight, he claimed that he was watching two women fight when he felt someone just punch him in the back of the head. And before he knew it, he was being attacked by 3 or 4 men. Then someone fired a gun and they just all ran. But he, however, was detained and questioned by police that same night about the incident. They even did a gunshot residue test on him and it came back negative. So they let him go. That's why he was still able to go to his Boothang's house later that night. He admitted to being in prison with the inmate that claimed he confessed, but he said that he never told him any incriminating evidence. So this was just false. He essentially was trying to convince the court that he had been cooperative the whole time. He'd given his DNA, his fingerprints, and 2 statements to the police, but decided not to cooperate after they questioned him a 3rd time. But the jury didn't buy this and found Maurice Johnson guilty of 3 counts of first-degree murder, amongst other charges. He appealed this decision, but it was upheld, and he will spend the rest of his life behind bars. Now, there's a little more you should know in regards to this case. Maurice claimed he was beat up and robbed around the time of the murders, but didn't know who did it to him. But police felt like he found out it was OJ and retaliated by robbing him back and killing him. And remember Tawana, the only surviving victim? Yeah, well, at one point, she was considered to be one of the attackers in this case, which would explain why Maurice's ex Boothang said that he told her Tawana knew he was coming to the house. So Tawana was charged because of this, but her trial would end in a mistrial and she wasn't tried again. Michael Younger, aka Money, was charged as well, but his 2010 trial ended in a mistrial too. He was charged again, but they were dismissed in 2014. So Maurice is the only person that has been charged in the murders of OJ, Casey, and Don. Rest in peace to the victims. What did you guys think about this case? I think Maurice was lying through his teeth when he claimed he never met OJ because Tawana and OJ have the same last name. And yeah, it could be a coincidence, but they could be blood related. And maybe that's how he found out that OJ was the one that robbed him earlier that month. There's just so much we could speculate about, including why the hell it took 10 years for this man to be charged with these murders. And yeah, he was in and out of prison with his own shit between this time, but still. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and if you know anything about this case that you'd like to share, please include it as well. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm Kayla. This is Black True Crime.